Top 5 Networking Strategies for Success ###. Why networking is important for success. Success isn't about knowing everything. It's not always necessary to learn skills to solve problems, and in the long term, you certainly can't do everything. Instead, it's very important that you learn to leverage the right people to achieve your goal. Let's take an example. If you start a business, there are a lot of things you need to take care of. Initially, you'll basically be everything, from the CEO to the janitor and everything in between. This makes sense because, especially if you're starting from scratch, you don't have the resources to delegate everything. Over time, you'll hire people, and step by step, you'll focus on working on the business, not in the business. The difference is quite simple. Working on the business means developing a strategy and analyzing the big picture of the company. Working in the business, on the other hand, simply means developing the daily tasks necessary to keep the business running. Obviously, both are important, but your goal as a CEO and leader is to drive the company forward, not to do small tasks every day. So, the work done in the business is still necessary at 100%, so you can't just not do it. You need to find people you trust and who you know will deliver results. You need to hire them based on their experience, their goals, their performance, and a lot of other important factors. And this is where the importance of networking comes in. If you don't have contacts and if you don't know anyone, it will really take a long time just to find candidates. If you already know people in the industry and have contacts, all you need to do is make a couple of phone calls, and you'll end up with a lot of job interviews. Having the right contacts could also help you find clients, especially if you have a service-based business or even if you're a freelancer. Meeting new people is essential if you want to stay in business. It's not a one-time product. These are relationships that you need to develop and nurture to actually get their money. So, in summary, you need to know how to network. Today, I'll give you some strategies and tips on how to network correctly to find the right people at the right time. 1. Understand this. No one owes you anything. It's important to understand that no one owes you anything, especially for younger generations. You need to understand that you're not entitled to anything. This has nothing to do with you as a person. I'm not saying you're not capable or that you don't know what you're doing. I'm just saying that's how the world works right now. No one will give you anything for free, especially if you want to include successful people in your network. You need to have something to offer. Imagine being something like a millionaire. People approach you every day from every direction. Some pretend to be your friends just to get something in return, even if it's just a cloud. If you really want their attention, you need to differentiate yourself. You do this by offering value, and that's why networking isn't easy or quick. It takes time to do this. For example, suppose you're a copywriter and you write ads for companies, and your goal is to get a new big client. You go to an event and meet a lot of interesting people. Among them, there's a very successful guy who has multiple drop shipping businesses. Obviously, he publishes ads on Facebook to find clients, and each of those ads is written by one of his partners. The text isn't the best, you know you can improve it. Now you have two options. Number 1, you approach this person at the event hoping to get their consent for a collaboration. You can even give them a small discount and hope to close the deal. Or number 2, you can introduce yourself to them, tell them what you do, and engage them in a bit of conversation. You don't bother them anymore. After a couple of days, you send them 3 new versions of the ad they're currently running that you think is getting the worst results. Remember, you don't ask for money, you just send it to them. You tell them it's a favor and that you're sure it will work. Gently ask them to try it and see the results, and if they want you to write some more, you can give them a special discount. Suppose you know what you're doing, and your ads generate results, maybe conversion rates that the guy has never seen in his entire career. Guess what? You've just secured a new client. Look how it works. You've just provided value in advance without asking for anything in return. You differentiate yourself from everyone else who approached him that night at the event because you weren't there just to get him to sign on the dotted line. You're genuinely trying to help and were willing to go the extra mile just for his consideration. Always remember that no one owes you anything. 2. Use LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a free tool with so much potential from many points of view. First of all, with LinkedIn, you can easily get in touch with high-ranking people, entrepreneurs, and CEOs. With them, you can develop any type of relationship. You can find new clients, and you can also make friends or simply get to know people to talk to. And you need advice again, this must be an exchange, but developing genuine relationships in this space is so easy, especially if you live in a big city and have the opportunity to meet them. If you really want to excel on LinkedIn, don't just send random connection requests. Actually participate in the platform, maybe even write a blog post every now and then, interact with other people's content, and seek engagement. This shows that you're actually active on the platform, and people will be more interested in talking to you. Plus, it has the potential to generate free organic traffic to your profile, which you can then convert into clients. The possibilities with LinkedIn are really great, especially in the B2B space or if you sell services. In fact, people like Gary Vaynerchuk always talk about this platform as something that will grow exponentially in the future. Gary V has a history of successful predictions, so I would listen carefully if I were in your position. 3. If you're looking for a job, don't spam your CV like a maniac. It's nice to have a CV, and employers will ask you for one just to take a look at your experience. But what they really want is for you to sell yourself, especially when someone asks you to talk about yourself or why you think they should hire you. They're literally saying, "Hey, I'm open, sell yourself to me." So it's not about spamming everyone who's hiring right now, especially if you're at the beginning of your career. Your CV probably isn't as impressive as someone who has years of experience in the field, so you should rely heavily on your interpersonal skills. Now, if you've benefited from this video, pause it now, hit the like button, and go ahead and click subscribe. This way, you'll be notified of all our videos just like this. Great, let's continue. 4. Don't be creepy, weird, or desperate. Okay, I know this sounds a bit weird, but hear me out. Imagine seeing a beautiful girl on your Instagram. You go to her profile and notice she's from your city. You like her a lot, she seems nice, so you'd like to invite her out. You send her a direct message right away and say, "Hey, beautiful, why don't we go out to dinner tomorrow night?" Guess what her response will be? Exactly, no response. Maybe she'll even block you because you're creepy. She doesn't trust that behavior, and you can't just come out of nowhere asking for something. It's the same in the business world. You need to build a relationship, you need some kind of relationship, especially if you want to meet them. You can't just say to them, "Hey, can we meet, and you tell me how to make money?" Also, don't be desperate. This is just a strategy that makes you more desirable. If you don't have other clients, no friends, and you're isolated from society, people will think there's something wrong with you. It's not necessarily true, but that's the market's reaction. If no one buys from you, there's probably something wrong with you. So you should act as if you have abundance. You don't have to lie, just maintain a confident body language and tone. Don't be insecure, and don't try to close people at all costs. Don't stalk them. Do some research on things that are necessary to really understand what kind of person they are and what they do. That's all. 5. Follow up. Let's say you've just finished a project with a client. They might have had a one-time problem, but this doesn't mean they can't ask for your help again. Most clients, especially in the service sector, will come back sooner or later if they're satisfied with your work. First of all, it's important to ask for feedback. You can divide it into two categories, public feedback and private feedback. The first is what you'll receive if you're sure the client is fully satisfied with your service. You'll publish that feedback on your social media or your website, or you could use LinkedIn referrals. Private feedback is where you'll ask your client to be hard on you. They need to be brutally honest and actually look for flaws and shortcomings in your service. You'll use this feedback to improve in the future. You also need to follow up after some time to remind them that you exist and that you're still available to work for them. Don't actually use these words, just ask them how they're doing. If it's something like Christmas, wish them a Merry Christmas. It would be even better if you could remember their birthdays and important events in their lives, like weddings, and so on. With that, you'll have a genuine excuse to contact them and start a small conversation. What was your experience with the topic covered in this video? Tell us about it in the comments, we are curious to know. And if you have any doubts or questions, don't hold back. Leave a comment, even just a simple like would be perfect, but most importantly, subscribe to the channel to stay informed about upcoming releases.